Welcome back to Serie A Spotlight. We're your hosts Jake
and Matt.
You know what time it is?
Jake and I will have a very special soft spot for Salernitana.
We love now.
This might be bad.
But your group has really some characters in it, no?
Ora naħseb.
Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Serie A Spotlight. This is episode 220 and we're your host Jake
and Matt,
here to run you through all the action of Matchday 36 in Serie A.
Yes, and by Matchday 36, still everything is wide open in the race for Champions League football.
More than ever now.
More than ever. Literally, this is the tightest it's been. There are no teams, apart from Inter, that are confirmed to have Champions League football for next season. Let me take you through it. Milan suffered a damaging home defeat to Atalanta, taking 0 points from a huge match and reigniting fan protests against the ownership in the process. Particularly, it was Furlani, Tare and Allegri that got the brunt of it. Roma left it late against Parma with a 100th minute winner that now puts them level on points with Milan in 4th. While Como's unbelievable season continues as they remain in the hunt for Champions League football, despite already securing historic European qualification. Napoli needed just 1 point to seal Champions League football for next season, but Bologna and Italiano had other ideas for them. At the bottom, the gap between Cremonese and Lecce is back down to just 1 point after Cremonese demolished already relegated Pisa and Juventus piled more pressure on Lecce with a win of their own. And finally, Inter made a huge statement by beating Lazio 3-0 just days before the highly anticipated Coppa Italia final. A little bit of a training match over there for both sides.
And I felt like you can't really gauge what the final is going to be like from that game, right?
That's one of my main questions for you in the rundown of the game. Does this show us anything at all?
I think Lazio didn't want to show too much. And the other way around as well, to be fair, but Inter just had more quality.
Well, we know what Lazio are like when they want to play under Sarri.
And when the fans actually show up, because there's going to be a completely different atmosphere. So let's remember that they were still protesting over there. This match day was interesting, bro, because it's Mother's Day, of course, which means that they had their mother's names on their back, the players, which means that it's been a year since our most viral short video ever.
Yes, it's been a year since every time we're in Turkey, we have to look over our shoulder every 20 seconds.
I still get the occasional death threat. Basically, the joke, for those of you who don't know, was that the players wore their mother's names for Mother's Day this weekend. Surprisingly enough, Çalhanoğlu didn't have bitch written on the back of his shirt. That was the joke.
Yeah, the joke is, of course, because of the Çalhanoğlu figlio di puttana, but you know, right, Jake called Çalhanoğlu's mom a bitch, which is a huge problem because we beat them in a war in 1565 and they're still going on about it, but... Yes. Whatever, that's Malta and Turkey for you.
Yeah.
Goal of the week, brother.
Yes.
I will start because Nathan has that artwork up first. If you score like a bicycle kick or a flying volley in the last minute to win a game, that's the goal of the week. Jonathan Rowe getting the winner against the champions Napoli after Bologna have been going through a terrible spell. Jonathan Rowe hasn't been the best himself. This was amazing. This was beautiful.
I enjoyed Suchic's goal. For me, that's the goal of the week. I thought Lautaro did really well in the build-up play. There was a nice passage of play leading up to it, and I thought the finish was really clean as well. It's a bit of a purple patch for Suchic and a great goal for me to pick.
I would call that an assist by Lazio's defense, because it's like, let's see how many times they could touch the ball inside the box without us doing anything about it.
Yeah, fair enough. I have some updates, bro, from this weekend as well.
Of course, please.
Yes, Jimenez, former Milan fullback, is a pedophile. Turns out, allegedly.
We knew he was weird on the texts. We knew he was weird, but he took it to a whole other level as he ignored a girl's age. He's like, don't you care that I'm 15? He's like, I've never been with a 15-year-old.
Crazy.
And I like them small, but you're intelligent.
I like them small, but my English now is good. Of course, more to come on that, but bloody disturbing. Also, Fabrizio Corona uploaded a video on YouTube speaking very theatrically and making a million accusations and super pompous, and he's a little bit full of himself, this guy. You can see it in the way he speaks. And he this time accused Theo of organizing and hosting escort parties with laughing balloons that Brahim, Castillejo, Leao and Zlatan have all attended. And we actually have a video of what he posted, just to show you and to get a bit of a reaction from it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you, it's not a party that looks exciting.
Yeah, a bit of a weird gathering. Those don't look like escorts to me as well, bro. They're dressed like they work in HR.
Why are they like a dance studio? Isn't that like a dance studio? It's all parquet on the floor with like a wall full of mirror.
This is just a weird... And I'm pretty sure Zoe's in the background.
I don't know about that. Can I just say, I've seen footage of you, not at the party, but I've seen footage of you at festivals when you're wearing a bucket hat, and Theo looks exactly like you with a bucket hat at a festival. That's insane. Yeah, that's insane. That's a shit party. Speaking of, bro, shall we? Bro,
so apparently, laughing gas, you inhale it and then you laugh, right?
Yes.
It just goes to your head, it kills a bunch of brain cells probably, and you just laugh.
Let's try it out. So we're here, we have some laughing gas. I'm joking. It's totally illegal in Malta. Bring on the hookers. And there goes Nkunku. Guys, make sure to stay till the end of this episode, no matter how long it is, to see our Fantasy League updates. Alan seems to be edging closer and closer to winning a free kit of his choice, provided by yours truly, much to my dismay, as I am in second place. And to get an update, well, not an update, but to see our predictions for Matchday 37. Currently, the score is 9-8. Jake won last weekend. It was like 5-4 or 6-5 or something of the sort. Yeah. So that is also going to go until the final day. If I win 2 in a row, I win. Bragging rights, that's all. We stop making bets between us because we're 30.
Stopped keeping them.
I stopped keeping them. In season 1, we made like 20 bets that were like...
You owed me 2 kits at one point.
I think because I told you that Verona will finish ahead of Sassuolo. I remember.
Yes,
that was a fucking good one. Yes. That was a great... Back when Hellas were lit, of course. Of course, before we get into anything, guys, a massive shout out goes to our media partners, Benevo Bid. If you want to upgrade your collection and you want to give back to charity, then head on over to the link in our bio. Place a bid on a kit of your choice. You know, they've got Matchday, match-worn kits as well, autographed kits. Most of the proceeds go to charity, so check out the link in our bio. If you question the authenticity, head over to their Instagram. You could actually see the players signing off. If you guys are new here, make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and rate us 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps us grow and keep bringing you weekly content. If you really love us and want early access, live episodes, then become a patron. It's $3.99 a month, and you'll also be added to a group chat with 50 plus like-minded legends, join our fantasy league, and even win a free kit of your choice for winning the league. You also get a chance to feature on our Patron Corner segment throughout our episodes, where you can have your say live on our show.
And also check out Serie A Spotlight.org for our daily challenge. Guess the player. Today's challenge was very difficult and you'll have to know ball to a serious level to get it. Go and check it out. It refreshes every 24 hours and we'll have the permanent leaderboards on display over there. And you have access to some behind the scenes footage, photo gallery, podcast episodes, reviews, everything related to Serie A and Serie A Spotlight.
Yes, sir. Let's jump straight into it, and we're gonna jump into the match that probably has the most talking points when it comes to Champions League qualification. Who are the teams, the Italian teams that are gonna be in the Champions League next year? We thought Milan were a guarantee. Milan are the closest risk right now of falling out of the top 4 as they lost 2-3 at home to Atalanta. So their crisis deepens. It's 7 points from their last 8 games for Milan, with only 1 goal scored in their previous 5 matches before this match, and 2 more defeats in that run-in as well. Atalanta won back-to-back away matches at San Siro for the first time since 1943. Modric and Pulisic were injured and Tomori was suspended. Atalanta came into this match winless in their last 5 matches, with nothing to play for this season. They are, of course, in 7th place. They are hoping that Inter will win the Coppa so that they can secure Conference League football, unless they don't want to play that. Bernasconi was injured for this match. The previous encounter between these two sides was a 1-1 draw, which feels like ages ago. It was when they had Juric and Lukman scored.
Yes,
I remember that game. I believe Milan's first draw of the season, that was. Milan lined up in a 3-5-2 formation. Mike Maignan in goal with a backline of Pavlovic, Gabbia and De Winter. Bartesaghi on the left, Salemakers on the right. Midfield trio of Rabiot, Ricci and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, with Leao and Santi Jimenez starting up front together. 3-4-2-1 for Palladinos men, with Carnesecchi in goal, a backline of Scalvini, Hien and Kolasinac. Zappacosta on the right, Zalewski on the left, double pivot of Derone and Edison, with De Ketelare and Raspadori flanking Krstovic. The game started, Rabiot hit the post nice and early, around 2 minutes in, but Atalanta scored with their first attack as Edison finished from inside the box in the 6th minute after a bit of a scramble between the Milan defenders. Then Zappacosta doubled their lead in the 29th from Krstosic's hold-up play, that trademark Zappacosta goal, a run late into the box between the wing-back and the centre-back. Then Raspadori made it 3-0 in the 52nd minute as his powerful shot beat Maignan at his near post. That's 3-0 to Atalanta. Then the San Siro was pretty much empty. Leao was subbed off and the groan meter exploded. Then Milan finally woke up. Pavlovic headed in a Ricci free kick in the 88th. Then Nkunku had a shot saved by Carnesecchi. He hit the post, won a penalty and converted it via the top corner in the 94th minute. Milan then almost equalised in the 96th minute as Gabbia's header strayed an inch wide. That great save by Carnesecchi, by the way, was made in the 62nd minute before Milan had won the penalty or hit the post. Before we get into anything related to the Curvas protest, the future of certain Milan figures and players alike, the future of certain Atalanta figures like Palladino, and we know that there's interest in a new sporting director over there as well, with Percassi coming out and saying it as well.
Because their current one's being linked to Milan, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. A comment on Milan's performance, Jake.
A comment, a singular comment.
Say what you have to say.
Okay.
Because so far in every chat I'm on with you in WhatsApp, whenever someone mentions Milan, I just see that someone's sending a voice note.
Yeah.
And it comes out 5-minute, 50-second voice note from Jake.
Because people say, I saw Milan this year, time to move on from Allegri. I'm not sure it's that simple again. And I say this every episode, and I think that the blame has to be shared. Don't get me wrong, I am upset with what I've seen, and Allegri is to blame a little bit for that as well, obviously, because the patterns of play that we see are extremely basic, obviously, and that's we knew that was coming because Allegri relies a lot on individual quality, right?
Yep.
But I think you also have to adapt to what's in front of you and the situation you're in. I think right now, because so many players are off form, Allegri has instructed the players to hit as many early crosses into the box as possible, right? So every time someone gets the ball, you see everyone running away from them.
Yep.
This is a major theme with Milan at the moment. Honestly, every attack is like a set piece. And not to mention then when they try to play through the middle, no matter if you're losing 1-0, 2-0 or 3-0, they try these cute little flicks that are way too reckless and way too high risk to advance. I'm not a big fan of those, bro.
The Milan conceded their 3rd goal because Leao tried one of those flicks.
Yes.
Got dispossessed high up the pitch.
Leao is meant to be the leader of this team, and he is, I think, the bad apple of the team at the moment. When he gets off the pitch, Milan play better. He lost the ball 13 times this game. He had 8 duels. He only won 3 of them. You know, he's not he has like I think between 70 and 80% pass accuracy rate. He's not leading by example. And let's let's not say because it's because he's being played out of position, because we saw many times this game he was drifting out wide where he's most comfortable and he just doesn't do well over there either. He is off form. Now, is it solely on Leao? No. There are other issues as well. The fact that the squad consists of 19 players. Allegri built a small squad because there's only one competition that Milan had to take part in. A few injuries at the beginning as well, so Milan struggling with rotation, etc. But now we're in a situation where players like Salamakers, Leao, even Rabiot and Pulisic are either injured, off form, or exhausted mentally or physically, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long season for everyone. I mean, I feel mentally exhausted, let alone the players who go on the pitch.
In fact, just to back you up
Please.
on that, in the next game where Milan go away to Genoa, and a must win because it's still in Milan's hands. Modric is injured, probably Pulisic as well. Leao, Salamakers and the Stupinian are all now suspended.
And honestly,
Milan entered this match with 6 players, 1 yellow away from suspension. And 3 of them got booked.
And honestly, bro, I think it might be for the better, because forced rotation might be what Milan needs right now, because it's straight up, it's not working. Everyone is so low on confidence and everyone is so frustrated. Leao is constantly swinging his arms around and flailing his arms around. Same goes to Salamakers. Rabiot looks like a shadow of the Rabiot we saw when he first arrived. And the difference is stark, the contrast. In the first 19 games of the season, Milan managed 2.21 points per match. Okay?
Mhm.
Now, in the second half of the season, it's 1.47 points per match.
That's
it's-
relegation form.
It is a drop-off in motivation more than anything else. And it's... I saw an interview recently when Salamakers was on CBS. And he actually said that Allegri said that if we stop conceding goals and we fix the defense, we can push for the title. So it was mentioned to the players behind the scenes that the title was an objective.
Mm-hmm.
And after beating Inter, when the morale was super high, suddenly there was this massive drop-off because of lost points afterwards. There was a Lazio game where they lost points, and I think that there was another game which killed it
Parma.
off. The Parma game, exactly. And obviously, you're going to be demoralized, but that should take 1 or 2 games. But right now, it's just been too long, and I expect the leaders of this team to step up, and I expect Allegri to get these guys in order, because it's way too risky now. Everyone around Milan is winning, and Milan are way too close for comfort. This was the last fuck-up that Milan could afford, because now they're up against Genoa. Who coaches Genoa?
Daniele
De
De
Rossi.
Rossi.
De Rossi,
Roma
the
legend.
talisman of Roma. What the hell are we doing here?
Fan
He's
favorite.
obviously going to want to take something from Milan, right?
Genoa are going to destroy Milan.
Yeah,
in
and then
that
the
game.
last game is a Cagliari game, and Cagliari are never easy at all. So Milan need to, and as well, the lack of Modric was felt so much in the middle of the pitch. Ricci tried, he ran, but he simply could not replicate.
But you know why?
What-
Yeah, because there's ring rust with Yashari and Ricci, because it's one thing signing young midfielders for the future, but then hiring Allegri, who's going to exhaust Rabiot and Modric and Fofana and Ruben Loftus-Cheek in midfield without giving the kids who they've spent a combined 50 million on.
To be fair though, Ricci hasn't shown much when he's played.
Also being played out of position, being played as an 8, he's a 6.
That's true.
You know?
That's very true.
And
Yashari got injured the second he arrived, which is
Sure,
extremely
and now he's being
unfortunate.
played
But
for 5 minutes.
yes, because he is extremely out of form. I mean, you
Stronger
see-
rotation, Allegri has always had that. He could do stronger rotation to keep players fresh and fit.
I think
fit,
though
flirty.
after the display against Sassuolo, it wasn't crazy to bench Yashari, but it just seems really harsh.
Yeah.
I mean, Modric is out. He has his
But
opportunity.
that's exactly the mistake he's been making. But
Yes.
anyway, just a few more questions for you. Well, firstly, I'm going to say just to your points about Allegri, etc. When I got the news of Milan getting Allegri, I was like, at least Milan are going to fix up their issue in the defense. At least Milan are really going to push for top 4. I use the term guaranteed top 4 with Allegri. And at least there's no room for complacency. Players are going to have a better attitude. Milan concede 3 against Udinese. Milan concede 3 against Atalanta. You've got players flailing their arms around. this is not the kind of stability that I thought would be offered with Allegri at the helm. It's not solely on him. We know that in January, players are trying to be brought in behind his back. We know that there's certain feuds with certain members of management, etc. But this isn't the kind of stability you expect with a manager as experienced as Allegri, especially when he's known. This guy is going to put an arm on Leao's shoulder, is going to get the best out of him. Stop using the excuse that Leao's being played out of position, man. It's not valid, in my opinion. Leao has lost his burst of pace, and he has a shitty fucking attitude to go with it as well. And that is a terrible combination to have. Question for you, 45th minute. Milan are down 2-0. They need a comeback. Roma just won. Juve won. This knowledge is known among the fans.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do at halftime? They light their torches. GF out, Giorgio Furlani out, or get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
Whatever they wanted to do with that. And Milan fans, including the Curva, completely emptied the stadium, with the real ones remaining.
The Curva left.
And
the Curva left.
Not only the Curva.
I'm sure some people followed suit, but
we were watching the game.
The dramatic scene was the Curva literally dispersing and leaving an empty
and
space
telling off people with their families who are there with their children. You're in
travel-
support, you
who
fucking
traveled
leave.
40 hours
Dude,
to get there.
Shut up,
I know
man.
they're getting roasted online, these poor fans. There were some foreign fans, some Asian fans. They posted a picture and it was like 3-0. They appeared on TV when Milan were losing 3-0, wearing Milan kits and they're smiling, a father and a son. I think it's ridiculous that they're being attacked. It's like, see, this is what the Americans attract to the team. People who don't
Dude,
care.
We
Like,
traveled
come
from
on.
Malta.
That's
like,
that. I'm
we're
Maltese. I love
fucking
Milan. You're gonna tell me I'm not a real
we
fan?
go there, we stay till the
Yeah.
final whistle, man.
Exactly.
But-
And that's the thing, bro, by the way. I have been a Milan fan long enough to see Milan Lecce, Kevin Prince Boateng coming on at halftime and scoring 3 goals and contributing heavily.
Yepes getting the winner.
Yepes getting the winner, exactly. That was a match that I remember very clearly and fondly as a Milan fan. A massive last-minute comeback against Udinese when Teo
Milan,
Hernandez scored.
Udinese, Teo Hernandez.
Yes, bro. There have been many, many comebacks, and you need the fans. When Milan eventually got back in the game, it was too late, and maybe with a bit of a push, a bit of, the song's lyrics are that no matter what happens, I will support you.
But
They were singing that in the
now
first
is
half. They
the
conceded
time to
3.
protest.
Yes, but
Now
no,
is
now,
the time.
now is
No,
not,
I'm sarcastic.
It's ridiculous that now is the time where the team needs the fans the most, and the fans are emptying the stadium dramatically as though Milan are not in line with their objectives. I understand that the form is bad right now, but bear with the team. They went 24 games unbeaten. They got over 2 points per match on average in the first half of the season. Support them, man. Support them. They're low on confidence. You can see
Don't be
it.
Real Madrid fans,
Yeah, what
man.
the hell is this
Don't be Real-
entitlement?
Dude,
It's ridiculous.
we got through last season. Like, all right, the Curva didn't. Congrats, by the way, guys. I hate this seniority shit, man.
Yeah.
That when you Curva, you can't just dictate what other fans do and whatever, and not turning up to support your team. But anyway, Furlani has now called a crisis meeting and asked for unity. I hate the guy, but yes, unity. Right now, it doesn't matter if the devil is your manager. You know what I mean? You need to.
Second episode in a row you mentioned.
We need champions. Milan need Champions League football. You're not turning up to the stadium. So Milan lose a game. So Milan lose the opportunity to get 100 million for a transfer budget for next season. So then you can complain about the management who aren't bringing in players. And it's your fucking fault, man. Because Milan staged a comeback in the 88th minute to the 94th minute. Milan had Nkunku hit the post. Carnesecchi pulled off an insane save on him.
And
There
narrowly
were
missed by
fucking
Gabby at the end.
chances. Where are the best fan base in Italy?
Yeah.
Because that's what Milan are, the best
Of
fan
course.
base in Italy.
And then you have the likes of Cremonese losing every single week and they're singing still.
Roma
I
with a
understand
100th minute winner. They were losing in the 88th against Parma.
And I hate this now because I'm sure people listening right now are going, oh, you don't understand the history of Milan and what Milan stand for. All right, man. So with that logic, if I'm a Genoa fan, I empty the stadium. They should
Exactly.
empty the stadium every week. And Torino fans.
We've been waiting for the 10th one for like
Exactly.
50 years.
Exactly. Come on, like it doesn't make any sense. I understand that you're disappointed, but it's symbiotic. You're meant to support the team a little
Yes.
bit. There's so much pressure right now. There's so much pressure, and the team isn't exactly experienced, and they lack a leader. And also, bro, by the way, the problems up front really hurt you when you realize that like you have a player like Lorenzo Colombo, who granted is not the best player in the world at all. he's fine. You know what I mean? He's average. He's young, and he tries his hardest and his utmost every game. Honestly, right now, I would probably start Lorenzo Colombo at Milan.
No shit, man.
You know what I mean?
No
He tries.
shit.
He gives his all every game for Genoa. I see him running. He was the only one who gave a shit against Fiorentina in the
Literally.
last game. The 0-0.
Yeah, I'm gonna quote Palladino. Just to say it, until the 88th minute, some of the worst football I've seen by Milan. It was a constant groan fest. Every time Milan crossed the halfway, they're running into each other. Like I'm not. It's not even an exaggeration. There was zero cohesion. If Allegri's idea is, I'm going to teach them how to defend and let them have this liberty up front. God, these guys do not need liberty. They need fucking guidance, man.
Yep.
These are Palladino's words. The boys did a good job of executing the game plan. We knew Milan would defend with a 3-5-2 and that we could create space in the attacking midfield, allowing us to penetrate them centrally after passing the ball out wide. Isn't that how Milan conceded every single goal this game?
Yes.
Wide, central, Pavlovic or De Winter out of position, goal.
Exactly, and you have Rabiot, who looked a little bit indifferent, Ricci, who was erratic, and Loftus-Cheek, who I don't even know. Like, what's Loftus-Cheek's biggest strength, bro, as a player? Like, tell me that, please. What is the main advantage of having a player like Loftus-Cheek, please?
Sideways passing. Amazing sideways passing.
Incredible sideways passing.
If you say I'm watching a rugby game, Loftus-Cheek is the best. He's the man.
Because honestly, he's so. I mean, he loses the ball so much for his size. He doesn't win his duels. He had one good run where he did a few step overs and he shielded the ball and played, but he was so. There's just a gap where he's meant to be.
When it comes to Milan individual performances, by far Leao is the worst. I just want to make that clear.
The
Leao
reason
has
every
been
attack
awful.
dies, man.
Exactly.
Yes.
The second he comes off Milan stage, a comeback, and then Nkunku came on. He
Nkunku
missed
was better.
huge chances, but I saw a player in him in this game, man, where I went,
At least, man.
this guy's got
He cuts
potential.
inside. He takes the ball onto his right foot. Granted, he takes a touch, just one extra touch, allowing Carnesecchi to come out and make the goal really small. But
And even how he hit the post, he needs to be sharper. He
Yes,
needs to be
yes.
sharper. But there's quality. You could see the quality. Let me jump to a bit of. So of course, as we said, Tare's job is being questioned, Allegri's job is being questioned, and Giorgio Furlani's job is being questioned, and it's almost a fact known in the camp that none of their jobs are safe. Even after Tare only spent this season at Milan, there's clear problems with some of the players that he brought in, just simply not, they're not doing it for Milan at the moment. For Atalanta, it looks like they too will be going through some change, with Percassi confirming that Tony D'Amico is courted by other clubs and could leave, with Milan and Roma interested. While they'd be very happy, Atalanta, to replace him with none other than Cristiano Giuntoli. This puts Palladino's job in scrutiny, of course, new sporting director, despite what Palladino has done, right? He's eliminated Borussia Dortmund from the Champions League, he took Atalanta from 13th to 7th, and he only lost on pens to Lazio in the Coppa as he drew to them twice. Another potentially very unfair situation for this young manager who, ever since he left Monza and all the glorious things he's done for Monza, almost taking them into a top 10 team directly after, if this was Como, everyone would be going mental what he did at Monza. Joins Fiorentina, gets them Conference League football against all odds, leaves because of his beef with the management, etc. He's brought in by Atalanta after Juric sucked the life out of the club, and they're playing in like really, really well. Of course, going through a bit of a drought towards the end of the season, and now once again he can remain jobless. Look, if Milan are sacking Allegri, I'm happy with Palladino. I think Palladino is an excellent coach. I think he has a fucking significant future in him. I really see him taking the Juve job in the future. Of course, he's represented them in the past, but such a balanced style of football. So many good attacking patterns of play, so direct when needed. His teams are so good, man.
I like Palladino and I rate him. I think that he needs to go to a club where he can grow and be aligned with the objectives. Something like I imagine him at like Bologna, man, and trying to actually.
I really imagine him at Atalanta as well. To be fair,
at Atalanta makes
I
perfect
thought that
sense.
gives him
to be
time.
honest. Same here. It's quite surprising that they're willing to let him go, especially when you compare him to what they had before at Juric.
Yeah.
Bro. Ever since he was a kid, he was legit.
Yeah.
If I was you, I'd cut up my wrist.
No, that's me. I wouldn't say that on the pod. If D'Amico, firstly, D'Amico, we're familiar with his work. He brings in excellent talent for Atalanta. He's known for it. Atalanta are known for it. But if D'Amico goes to Milan, which is a genuine possibility, it is reported that Milan will attempt to bring in Italiano. This is all very exciting, sure, but it is another last question before we move on, because we're taking a bit long on this. Is another year zero what Milan need?
No, not at all.
Some kind of continuity?
No, I think Milan need continuity, and I really hope that they qualify for the Champions League so that Allegri would have achieved his objectives, and potentially, hopefully, they could continue with him, because if Milan finish out of the top 4, the management would be within their rights to sack Allegri, unfortunately, because that was the objective of the season. In reality, though, in my opinion, if top 4 is not achieved, it's not only Allegri who needs to go. You need to sell Leao, in my opinion. You need to sack Furlani. You need to make a few changes in the club, because you can't keep starting from scratch every single season. It doesn't make any sense.
That's it. I know Tare signings haven't performed as well. Yashari, I don't think he's the one that brought in Ricci. I thought Ricci was brought in earlier.
It was weird because they signed Tare at a really strange time. It was like halfway through the window when some signings had already been made.
But Rabiot and Modric worked, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I wouldn't go so far as to sack Tare. If anything, even if Milan make Champions League, I wouldn't hate the idea of removing Allegri, because there's a clear upside. Milan are going to play more attractive football, and me, as someone that grew up watching Milan, like I'd love to see a more entertaining Milan.
I know,
and a more modern Milan.
I know what you mean, but literally, bro, I don't know if the management is willing to give that time, because we tried with Fonseca last year and they sacked him immediately.
But we tried with Fonseca, not with Italiano or Palladino.
But Fonseca's doing well. He's a good manager. He's doing well. In France, he's doing very well, or wherever the fuck he is. Also, bro, did you mention 100 million from Champions League qualification, is it?
It's the figure that you get from performing in Champions League as well, and according to how many wins you get, there isn't one figure that you get. Like, you qualify for Champions League and you get a check.
Bro, that's 2 more in Nkunku's and then Emerson Royale.
Oh my God, you're totally right, man. You're right. Keep Nkunku.
I'm not sure about that.
What? At keep Nkunku, there's a player somewhere there.
This was the only game where... Okay, no, he had the game against Verona as well. He was okay.
Keep Nkunku. It's his first season. Relax. Don't be like them. Don't be like them.
Jimenez, you can't. You have to keep Nkunku, because no one's going to pay what you paid.
Fair enough.
So you're stuck with him. So hopefully second season is better.
Exactly. Let's move on, bro.
Yes.
Milan in 4th on 67 points, level on points with Roma in 5th, only 2 points ahead of Como in 6th, whereas Atalanta find themselves nothing to play for. It's 7th place. They're far enough from Bologna and far enough from Como.
Yeah, to acknowledge a little bit of the comments in our YouTube live right now, Daniel said, since when do Milan have the best fan base in Italy? And then he put a bunch of Inter hearts. Fair enough, okay, we'll take it.
Sure.
Tyson said even Napoli's Curva was applauding the team after yesterday's embarrassing loss. Fair enough, yes, as well.
Yep.
Maradona's always filled with a supportive crowd, as of late especially. He also said, saw the pic of the father and son, classic Twitter ultras, probably back at it again. Guys saying that shit probably weren't even at the game themselves, and that's a great point. Yeah. But anyway, moving on to Parma 2, Roma 3. What a crazy game of football. What a stressful, anxiety-inducing game for those who are fans of either Como or Juve or Napoli or Milan or anyone around them in the table. Please note Malin in the cover art looking like the enemy of the Minions, is it?
Yeah, I think of the Minions.
Something like hilarious photo.
Yes.
The previous encounter, bro.
Gru
I don't know his name.
Gru?
Do you know, Nate, the Minions enemy, what his name
Despicable Me.
is? Despicable Me. Gru? Yeah, with the long nose. Is his name Gru?
Yeah, Gru.
Okay, Gru.
I know that. Like.
Yeah, because his... I don't know why you know that.
We know why. We spoke about it earlier. But not on the pod.
Oh my god. My keyboard has just come undone. Okay. So, Roma in the previous fixture won 2-1 at the Olimpico. Back then, bro, Dovbyk scored. Remember him?
Oh my god.
Dovbyk, Hermoso, and Circati scored for Parma after they were 2-0 down. But this was a great game, to be honest with you. There was Zion Suzuki in goal for Parma in their 3-5-2 formation with Valenti, Troilo, and Circati at the back. Valeri was on the left, Del Prato on the right, with Keita, Caviglia, and Ordonez in the middle. Strefezza and Del Fege starting together up front. For Roma, it was Svilar in goal with Mancini and Dicant Hermoso at the back, Celik on the right, Wesley on the left with a double pivot of Cristante and Kone with Sule and Dybala flanking Malin. That's a very nice front three, Sule, Malin and Dybala in theory, and they played very well this game.
Depends what Dybala you get.
Depends on what version of Dybala you get. This was absolutely breathless, this game, and it took the stoppage time for it to be decided. So just after 9 minutes into the game, Malin had a goal disallowed for offside. He was sent in deep by Mancini. However, he would go on to open the scoring for Roma in the 22nd minute with a well-placed finish. A classic trademark Malin finish is what it's starting to become. Strefezza leveled for Parma early on in the second half, similarly to what he did against Napoli a couple of weeks ago, scoring that time a few seconds into the first half. I was very surprised to see him removing his t-shirt and his sports bra just 46 minutes into the game, bro.
Baby, relax. There's fucking a whole half of football left to be played.
What the hell's he doing? You can tell, man, these guys are at the beach mentally.
Literally.
Like, any element of seriousness.
No matter when he scores, this guy's just going to take his shirt off from now on.
It could have been the 4th minute, man.
Literally.
Hilarious. Pellegrino scored a header off a corner in the 54th minute, but Troilo had been standing in an offside position impeding Svilar's view. Therefore, the goal was cancelled. In the 86th minute, Keita put Parma ahead with a well-placed low shot in the right corner after a nice chipped ball from Estevez in midfield. His mom was in the stands. His parents were in the stands. Really cute, beautiful moment. His mom was going mental. She was so emotional when he scored, and apparently he didn't know that they were there. And this was his first goal.
Cute.
In Serie A, I believe. Roma, it looked like they were going to go home empty-handed. Of course, it was 2-1 at this point, until Rensch equalized from just outside the area in the 93rd, and then Britschgi, who had already been booked for a handball, fouled Rensch in the box and was sent off after a VAR review. Malin stepped up and slotted the penalty into the top corner with a very short run-up for Roma to win 3-2 in extraordinary fashion. We have a few things to talk about here, bro. I don't want to be that guy, but there were a few questionable decisions in my opinion. Like, first of all, well done to Roma. Your fans stuck around till the end. The players didn't give up. Everyone was on board and they were very mission focused.
Shout out Malin, shout out Dybala, had a good game. That first time pass for the opener.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But let's talk about those 2 goals at the end from Roma, because one of them, the ball was of course rising after a corner and it was coming down, and Mancini was on the ground. He had his arm outstretched and the ball bounced off his arm while it was moving and fell to
While it was
Rensch.
Moving towards the direction of the
outside,
player that
away
received.
from the body, right? And Rensch shot first time and scored. Should that have been handball, man?
It depends what they're considering a natural fucking
on the
movement
floor, right?
to be. Maybe he's doing this to get up. No, for me,
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't want to be overly critical because of the situation right now. To me, that deserves to be looked at very closely.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the last player that touches the ball before the goal scorer used his arm.
Yeah. And then for the winner, of course, the ref had given the foul the opposite way. He penalized the attacker. He penalized Rensch.
Mm-hmm.
They looked like they were grabbing each other. For me, that's not a penalty, man.
So and we've seen it. We've seen this. What game was it? It was a Juve game, I believe, where we said, I think it was Juve Atalanta, man, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
yes,
I
think it was where both players were pulling at each other. the contact is initiated by Rensch.
Like
Rensch,
this, huh?
Rensch runs past him. Thanks, bro. Rensch runs past him with his arm wrapped around him himself. Then, of course, Rensch decides to throw himself to the floor. And when he does that, there's clearly the arm of a Parma player around him. That's not a penalty in my eyes. That is not. That's a games gone penalty if I've ever seen one. That's incredibly harsh. And to give it in the 100th minute of a football game like that, I think it's incredibly harsh for Parma. I'd let the first one slide, the natural position of the arm, whatever. That is not a penalty, though.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah. To be fair, to be completely unbiased over here, Roma had a penalty appeal to in the 19th minute for a potential foul by Valenti on Mancini. The professional referee Marelli commented that the ball and that Mancini struck the ball and the player at the same time.
Okay.
Or whatever but that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't get the man first. Basically,
Exactly,
made
exactly.
contact with both at the same time.
Exactly.
Sure.
Sorry, Valenti,
Valenti.
struck the ball and the player at the same time. But Cuesta, of course, who has previously come out and squashed any conspiracy by saying, no, that was a penalty against us. He's often been fair when talking to the press and often dismissing these controversies. This time he came out and he said, I'm very proud of my boys and the performance, but at the same time, I think that everything that happened is obvious. The whole stadium and all of Italy saw it. So this time he's pushing the narrative of some potentially
That Parma got
incorrect-
fucked.
that Parma got fucked, basically. Whatever, but for me it doesn't even matter because, you know, Milan have nothing to do with this, right? It's just for consistency's sake. We want to see the same decisions over and over. For example, the goal that was disallowed with Troilo standing in front of the keeper in an offside position. Milan literally conceded that goal against Parma and it stood. You know, I mean, there have been so many, and now we know, of course, that there's some stuff that could potentially be happening with the refereeing body.
You see inconsistent decisions. Then you hear of the tapping on the glass window of the VAR room and manipulating decisions. And then you hear about the selection of referees and VAR officials for certain games or whatever.
And then plus the fact that
how are you supposed to not question these things, you know?
Plus the fact that Italian referees are by definition amateur. They are not on professional contracts. So that is absolutely shocking, to be honest, for a league as big, for one of Europe's top 5 leagues. To have amateur referees, that's unbelievable. But anyway, Roma, bro, the mentality they displayed was absolutely incredible, though, and I was really impressed by Rensch, who came on and changed the game completely. He scored, he won the penalty, he was super, in my opinion.
Yes, man, and there have been question marks of Rensch when it comes to his defensive ability. Of course, he's nowhere near the level to start for Roma at this stage. It's good that going on late, they could just swap Wesley onto the other side and bring someone like Rensch who can attack very well. But the way he contributed at the end, of course, with the goal and winning the penalty. It's what dreams are made of for substitute players. That's how they earn their position in the starting lineup. He came on with energy. He came on with a clear mission, and that's not only him but the rest of the Roma players that came on as well. Just one goal in their mind. Let's get this fucking win, man.
Absolutely, bro. And this mentality isn't new. This is the 4th time in the last 6 games that they've won or salvaged points in stoppage time. And to be honest, it's kind of defining their season at this point. Of course, we're going to give Milan his flowers because he's absolutely unbelievable, and he has broken Mario Balotelli's record for the most goals by a January signing, pushing his total to 13 goals in 16 matches. And I noticed some things this game as well that just cement my love for this player. He's such a hustler. You notice the slight tackle, for example, before his first goal that caused El Fejja and Troilo to get into each other's way before eventually Cristante dispossessed them and Kone ran with the ball. Eventually they played the ball to Dybala, who touched it first time to Milan, and he scored. So he's industrious and he can defend as well. And also notice his high standards, because when Hermoso squared it across the face of goal first time at some point during this match, I can't remember when, Malin was late, but of course he was late because it was a first time pass. He was literally running in the right direction, but he got there a little bit late. He was so upset with himself, man.
Yeah.
Even though he had already scored and he had been playing really well. You know, his standards are so high, and he is a super player, man. Super. Honestly.
And like, he hasn't been injured for Roma at all. I'm just looking at his injury history now. He once had knee surgery back in 2019, and it caused him to miss 11 games for PSV. And for Borussia, he missed 10 matches because of an apparent strain. That must be wrong. Does a strain make you miss 10 games? Jesus. But relatively after that, 5 games missed, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, and that's pretty much
Those
it.
are in seasons.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So he he's a reliable player. He's so direct. He's so industrious. He doesn't try anything cute.
Nothing.
Tries nothing cute.
Nothing cute.
Even the penalty. No run up, which the keeper can read your face a little bit, where you're going to go, whatever. 2 steps straight into the top corner. Gasperini, who were taking the piss, were like, oh my God, now Suzuki's going to save it. And Gasperini's going to look like an idiot because he's smiling in the 100th minute as Malin's stepping up for that penalty. We're like, he's going to wipe that smile off your face when Suzuki saves it.
Uh-huh.
No
way
chance.
is he saving that.
Chance.
No
way,
I was wondering why Dybala didn't take it, but now I know why, because Malin's penalties are violent.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dybala, though, now that we've given Malin his flowers, 5 passes into the final third, a match-high 6 chances created. That's 3 times as many as his closest competitor, and a clever first-time assist on Malin, of course. What a game from him, and next week could be his last match at the Stadio Olimpico.
And it's almost a tragic story of Dybala at Roma, man. With that Europa League final that they just missed out on winning. He had that opportunity to lift some silverware for Roma, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be for him. He's the... Roma fans love him so much, and it would have been great for him to use that moment to like get some kind of silverware, or even this season, they got knocked out in the Europa League against Bologna. So it's sad that Dybala wasn't able to win anything. But here we got to see a bit of the old Dybala, okay? He didn't hog the ball too much. He didn't try those one-on-ones too much. It was more like those quick first-time passes, creating space for his teammates, etc. It was a nice seasoned performance by, at this point, a veteran of the game.
Of course. He wasn't called up for the preliminary World Cup squad.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Even though you go to a penalty shootout, he's useful. Huh? You remember the World Cup final, was it? He took a penalty.
I'm a Milan fan, so I've seen Dybala miss a fair few against Milan. Huh? So,
of course, fair enough. On the note of Parma, bro, Bernabe and Ondrejka's season is over. Now, if anyone gets a cold, their season is over, by the way. We're at that
and
point
I
of the
still
season.
react like this. What?
Exactly, yeah.
I still think
it
it's
sounds
devastating,
detrimental,
man.
the
But they're missing
season is
2
over,
games,
yeah. They're both getting surgery, though.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite bad. But they'll be back next season.
Yep.
Suzuki impressed me. Had a few good saves, particularly after a defensive mess in the 50th minute. Had 2 good saves on Malin. I don't think there's anything else to add from this game.
I just want to say
please.
that Roma's next 2 games, which of course Roma, if they want any chance of getting Champions League football, because it's not in their hands, they need to turn their 3-match winning streak into a 5-match winning streak. And upcoming, their next game is going to be at home against Lazio. They've beaten Lazio already this season, and now they go up against them when Lazio are going to be tired from even likely playing 120 minutes against Inter, for all we know. But then they go away to Verona. If they win that derby game against Lazio, there's a good fucking chance that they get Champions League football, man. There's a very, very good chance, because I really don't fancy Milan in that Genoa game, because they have, Roma have that guy undercover, Daniele De Rossi, trying to do damage to Milan. And Milan's
Genoa have
squad.
no obligation to attack, and we know how Milan are against a low block, how much they struggle. So that could potentially get ugly. And their stadium is a massive pressure cooker, man. And it's been packed lately, and their fans have been extraordinary. So,
yes, sir.
So we'll see. Hopefully Colombo feels bad for Milan.
Yeah.
But yes, regarding the standings, I can tell you very quickly that Roma are in 5th with 67 points, of course tied with Milan in 4th, while Genoa are in 14th with 41 points.
Juve also won top 4.
Sorry, Parma. Parma are in 13th with 42 points.
Sorry, what did you say?
Genoa.
Jeez.
We're just talking about them.
Makes sense. Juve also won top 4 football, so they actually got it done by beating the already relegated Lecce 1-0 away from home. And just the manner in which it happened is
Not
hilarious.
already relegated, huh?
Sorry. Lecce, who are battling relegation, who are trying their hardest until the very end. The manner in which Juve got this victory was just hilarious. So Lecce came into this game after 3 unbeaten with a huge win that put them 4 points ahead of Cremonese, but now it's back to just 1, and it looks like the battle will go down until the final match day. Lecce missed Berisha, Fofana, Gaspar and Sotil. Very important players they've just missed for this long stretch of last games as they're battling relegation, man. Juve are now 10 matches undefeated in Serie A, back to winning ways after 2 draws. They have jumped to 3rd place. They missed Thuram, Milik and Cabal. The previous encounter between these two sides was a 1-1 draw at Juve Stadium. It's a 4-2-3-1 formation for Di Francesco's men, with Falcone in goal and the backline of Vega, Siebert, Gabriel and Gallo. A double pivot of Ngom and Ramadani, with Banda, Koulibaly and Pierotti playing behind Walid Khedira. Also a 4-2-3-1 formation for Spalletti's men, with Di Gregorio in goal, a backline of Kalulu, Bremer, Kelly and Cambiaso, Locatelli and Cope Miners in midfield, with Conceição, McKennie and Yildiz playing behind Dusan Vlahovic, who scored 12 seconds into the match. So, from kickoff, Yildiz switched quickly left. Coop Miners laid it off to Cambiaso, whose first time cross was just controlled brilliantly by Vlahovic. He took a touch essentially past 3 defenders in his first start since November, and he slammed it into the roof of the net in 11 to 12 seconds. That is the 3rd fastest goal in Serie A history, as far as records have been being kept, so from around 2004 basically. Lecce nearly leveled immediately. Di Gregorio made a fantastic save on Khedira in the 2nd minute. That's how quickly Lecce started going at them. And then Conceição hit the post, but that was the match. A second goal was repeatedly denied by VAR. Vlahovic was offside, then interfering from an offside position, and then Kalulu was offside in the build-up. 2 disallowed goals due to 2 VAR interventions. Lecce created chances late. Pierotti nearly equalised, but Juve held out for 3 vital points. The classic thing, Juve created so much, but they got so little. And according to Opta Paolo on X, only Leao and Lozano have scored more quickly in Serie A over the past 2 decades. Leao's goal was in 6 seconds. Of course, we remember that
Sassuolo,
very clearly against Sassuolo. Yeah. We were in Gozo.
Yeah, I remember.
In that apartment where the
gravity
floor
was stronger.
The floor was slightly tilted. So we constantly felt exhausted. We're like, why is this happening? Until we got a ball and it kept rolling. We're like, oh fuck! We're constantly downhill, like, well, whatever. And Lozano had scored in 9 seconds for Napoli, respectively. So Vlahovic takes 3rd place. But bro, no one really cares about how Juve are winning right now. But the performances are secondary at this stage of the season. It's simply about grinding out results and securing Champions League football, and that's what they're doing, man.
Yes, and their players are stepping up. Like, this game was a very good game by Di Gregorio, Kalulu, Bremer. They all played well. Even Kelly played well, man. Cambiaso had his 2nd good game in a row, I thought. They are they're doing well at the most important and most delicate time of the season. And honestly, I know they aged it a little bit, but the offside calls were really tight, to be honest. Juve had the upper hand all game. And that first goal is a result of something that Spalletti drills home. From kickoff we attack. That's our system.
Yeah.
And it worked perfectly. And Vlahovic is the perfect striker for these combative. Let's go with combative moments in the box.
Jesus, man, you said that too many times.
Combative. You see it. I mean, it wasn't a clean goal whatsoever, but the simple hustle and drive and bravery and determination from Vlahovic to just get onto that loose ball and not lose it and hoofed it into the roof of the net was something that, to be honest, Openda and
David
don't
can't.
give you. They don't give you that.
They don't give you
No,
that.
not at all.
Vlahovic is so direct. He's so powerful, and of course,
He's no nonsense, man.
he's no nonsense. At times, he feels a little bit raw when it comes to his technique, like his control, his passing. Very simple stuff that sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. But it's funny, man, because Spalletti is exactly the coach he needs. He's exactly the coach he needs. Give Spalletti a Victor Osimhen, give Spalletti a Vlahovic, kind of like Italiano in that sense. And we know how well. Was Italiano the manager of Fiorentina when Vlahovic was there? I think he was.
He was. He was there for a while.
So yeah, he's the exact kind of coach he needs. But unfortunately, Vlahovic's contract expires at the end of the season because it's gotten to this level after his lengthy injury. They hadn't renewed him, even though he had a great start to this campaign after they signed 2 strikers. I believe he scored in the opening 2 matches of the season.
Yeah.
Vlahovic.
It's currently Bayern Munich are being rumored to have held.
Right,
Talks with
Harry Kane.
Well,
it has to be a club like that because he's on 12 million.
it has to be. All right.
Fucking ball, dude.
I was super impressed. This was Juve right now are a team that's united. Conceição 5 tackles. Tracking back. Yildiz 7 tackles tracking back. Great to see. That's what you want from your team.
Excellent.
Against Lecce, you could easily get complacent.
Dude, this was a game where both teams had so much left to play for. Of course, you have Juve desperate for Champions League football, and they need to play now 2 of their heated rivalry. They need to play Fiorentina, who hate their guts, and then they need to play Torino, who also hate their fucking guts.
Yeah.
And everyone hates Juve more than Juve hate them, with the exception of Inter.
That's a really good way of putting it, bro.
Thank you. Lecce are fighting for survival, and now they face Sassuolo away and Genoa at home. Both sides now it's not like, you know, you could pick and choose which games you're gonna win, which games you're gonna lose, or whatever. Now it's unpredictable. Lecce could have gotten something out of this game, and they had the opportunities to do so. The one man that stopped them, was Di Gregorio. Di Gregorio had a fantastic game this game. I think this was his best game in a Juve shirt.
He's had some good ones.
Okay, this season,
maybe,
definitely. This season it has to be.
Because there were certain games. I think his best saves came in games where he also made mistakes. That's the weirdest thing about it. But fair enough. He was great.
Mm-hmm. Now at least Juve, after they had this year 0, I think 2 seasons in a row, maybe even 3, man. With the Motta movement, and then they had the Tudor movement. Now at least they have this continuity with Spalletti. I don't know what the situation is sporting director wise, or you know, anything of the sort, but at least they're gonna go in next season with the same manager they had this season, who is not Tudor, but he's actually someone that's won the fucking thing before. Remind me what the name of the sporting director is.
Marco Ottolini.
Okay, I did not know that. Formerly a respected scout and executive at Genoa, Ottolini was appointed to lead sporting operations and manage transfer strategies, reporting directly to the CEO, Comolli. Because I just think of Comolli.
Exactly.
Comolli's directly to him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting. There was another point, bro, I wanted to make about... yes. Cremonese beat Pisa 3-0.
Yeah.
Lecce lost this game, obviously. Had Cremonese just defended against Lazio, that'd be equal on points.
Yeah.
You know what
How
I mean?
Annoying that is.
How annoying
How
that
annoying
is for them. I mean, I prefer, of course, Lecce. I'm a little bit biased because I am enamored by Lecce. I love their stadium. I love what they represent. I like them. I'm a big fan of them. So
Jake likes the south of Italy.
I like the south of Italy a lot. Yes.
I love the south of Italy. Lecce, of course, as we said, are in 17th, 1 point ahead of Cremonese in 18th. I'm really looking forward to the remaining fixtures of both these sides. What I'm hoping for is, of course, that at some point Lecce drop points and Cremonese draw. I really want a relegation play out. It's been ages since we've had a relegation play out, and that would be watching Lecce Cremonese head-to-head after that boring-ass draw that they had a couple of weeks ago. That would go down nicely.
So it's in the stadium of the team with the better goal difference?
I'm not sure about that, actually.
Where's
I'm
the
not sure.
neutral venue, I wonder?
No idea, to be honest. Juve find themselves in third now, leapfrogging Milan on 68 points. They're 3 ahead of... Sorry, they are 1 ahead of Milan and Roma, so still not safe at all.
No. Hellas Verona 0, Como 1, bro, was a game that also took place for the Champions League qualification spot. The previous encounter between these teams was a 3-1 victory for Como, and Duvikas scored in that one too. So Duvikas scored twice against Hellas this season. Congratulations to Como, as they have qualified for European football for the first time in their history.
So cool,
Exactly 2 years after promotion to Serie A. We don't know what the tournament will be. Could be Champions League, could be Conference League, for all we know. But Fabregas, as he said very poetically, 2 years ago we were promoted. Today we're in Europe.
That's
brilliant.
That's excellent, man. That's
Yeah.
excellent.
And-
We'll get into everything about Como, I'm sure, after.
Yes, I can do the game analysis very quickly, and then we'll get to that talking point, because it's absolutely unreal where they came from.
Yeah.
Montepò was in goal for Hellas Verona under 3-4-1-1 formation with Valentini, Edmondson and Nelson at the back. Freze was on the left, Belgali on the right, with Bernade, Gagliardini and Akpro in the middle, with Suslov playing behind Bowie. For Como, it was a 4-2-3-1 with Bute in goal, Voivoda and Valle as the fullbacks, with Carlos and Kempf as a centre-back partnership, Perron and Acuna as a double pivot, Diao out wide on the right, Rodriguez out wide on the left, with Duvikas playing up front and Nico Paz in the pocket as the 10. And this was a harder match than expected for Como against already relegated Hellas, who played with full determination and they showed fight throughout. Como dominated possession, they had 64% in fact, but Hellas Verona did create dangerous moments. Bowie was excellent this game, and Bute made some key saves to keep Como in it. The decisive moment came at the 71st minute, when Como just said fuck it, and Kempf pumped a long ball down the left. Edmondson, who had been playing quite well, misjudged the headed clearance, and Duvikas reacted faster. He took a superb touch and drove a right-footed finish into the bottom corner.
To be fair, this was a contender
Yes.
for a goal of the week.
It was a goal of very high technique, and honestly, it's not often, bro, that people follow the trajectory of the ball when a defender is rising for it.
Yeah. Exactly.
The
They
time
don't
they give up on
expect
it.
to
Exactly.
receive the ball.
So the fact that Edmondson misjudged that ball and Duvikas still reacted in the way he did was great. Hellas thought they had equalized through Bowie immediately after, but VAR spotted Valentini in an offside position. Como held on. Bowie, of course, had further chances, but Bute was equal to them, and this was a historic result for Como and a brilliant coaching achievement for Fabregas. It's funny, how Como sometimes, when their beautiful style doesn't work, they just hoof it upfield, and that's how they win the ball.
But I'm all for that, man.
Yeah.
I'm all for that kind of plan B. Just knock the ball forward and fucking go for it. You know, sometimes it's like Ancelotti said, man. I always quote him on this. He's like, I don't have one style. You think I'm gonna build the ball out of the back like I did at Real Madrid with Everton when I've got Pickford in goal who could launch a ball to the massive noggin of Calvert-Lewin up front. It's like, why am I gonna stay fucking around building the ball from the back when I can just hoof it up top to him and it's guaranteed 90% of the time he's gonna get to it? You need different things in your locker, you know?
Yeah.
And actually the criticism about Como was even when they lost 4-0 to Inter, they kept trying to build the ball out of the back. So it's good to see them doing this, man.
Absolutely, bro. So this was a noble attempt by Hellas Verona, who had nothing to play for, and to be honest, historically in Italy, it's considered to be bad form when you have nothing to play for and you go out there and play your absolute hardest and play to win. I'm reading that book by John Foote, Calcio. And I just read a chapter on that where literally like you're expected to kind of, if there's someone playing for something, unless they're a rival, you're expected to not show up on the day. It's kind of a thing. But But they definitely showed up and they definitely gave it their all. And thankfully, our patrons, our 3 Hellas Verona supporting patrons, could enjoy the match actually. And they have something with Bowie. I hope they manage to hold on to him because he is an exciting attacker.
I mean, he's very good. I like Bowie. Should he be doing a season in Serie B? Maybe they pull off a little like Pinamonti thing where they loan him out to a Serie A team and kind of help him get more experience there. Not that it worked out super well for Pinamonti, because maybe he could have used the season in Serie B, to be honest.
Yes, to be honest, I have a few notes on Hellas Verona and their future because their board member spoke. Puscasio or something like his name is. He gave an interview, closed doors, of course, pre-selected questions, everything super organized. But we'll get into that very soon. First, I want to talk about Como's achievement, though, because this is absolutely sensational. It's one of the stories of the decade in Italian football. Fabregas joined as a coach in 2024. He won promotion, and now he has got them in Europe for the first. He has now delivered European football to a club that last played top-flight football in 1986.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's even more impressive when you realize that Como were bankrupt in 2016. They were bought essentially in 2017 and admitted to Serie D in 2019. They made it to Serie A in 2024 and made it to Europe in 2026. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Suarso took some questions. I believe he's the owner of Como, if I'm not mistaken. He said that the stadium renovations will begin after Sunday's game against Parma. Of course, they want to improve the stadium because now it's going to host European nights. He said the objective this season was to do better than the year before, so we are over the moon.
Yeah.
Could man ask what exactly if Champions League is an objective. And he was also asked about Italians, and he said that the problem with Italians is that they are very expensive and we can't pay in installments. We are developing 4 or 5 players, Italian players, who will hopefully be ready for the first team soon. He said, I like many Italians. He's like, I like Orsolini, Bastoni, De Marco, but we can't afford them. Ventorino is also strong, like Cambiaghi and Lazio's Pellegrini. Also, by the way, we bought 4 Italians in our first season in Serie A, which is absolutely right about. So this whole thing that Como don't play Italians can easily, it's a bit lazy because it can easily be applied to so many teams. Lecce, Milan, there are so many teams.
And also, because there's the whole argument, Como aren't good for Serie A. And the same people say that Italian football is behind, that they're playing outdated formations and very defensive football. Football is going one way, Serie A is going the other way. They've got a very progressive team in Como, playing with very new ideas and very attacking football. And suddenly they are the cancer of the league. Because they brought in the super rich owners and they're buying success. No, they're fucking not, man. No, they're not. They bought Baturina.
They're buying exciting prospects.
They bought Sergi Roberto at the ripe age of 34? I mean, they bought Boutet as keeper. They're not out here signing the best players in the world, like PSG did, for example. Money does not guarantee you success. It is a project that guarantees you success. And they've done it sustainably. They've built a team. They've built the team. They've gave full trust to Fabregas. He bought the players that he wanted, and he built the team exactly the way that he wanted it.
Yeah. Of course, it's easier when you have money, but the scouting has also been...
Okay, but what was their most expensive transfer? 30 million, 40 million?
Yes, no.
They're not out here spending, we want Gvara.
I mean, there are clubs who spend 40 million on Nkunku. There are clubs who would rather spend 30 million. Baturina was brought in for 30 million, how much? Something like that, no?
And like 30 million, I think.
And he's splendid, man. He's, I think, the hottest Croatian talent at the moment. Yeah.
Apart from that young Luka Modric.
That young guy. With the
they
face.
bought Jesus Rodriguez for 22 million. Kun for 19 million. Baturina 18 million. Adai 14 million. You're joking, man.
Of course, having money allows you to do this, but they could have easily misspent and misplayed. Like Pisa's record-breaking signing was Durosinmi, who wasn't even playing. You know what I mean? You could easily be reckless with your funds.
No, come on. They're doing
Yeah.
they're doing it so well. They are great for Italian football, man. They're not great for the Italian national team, sure, but whatever. There are other teams.
Well,
to
apparently they're
play
developing
Italians.
4 to 5 talents. Apparently, we'll see who the hell these guys are. 4 to 5. Yes. Everyone around me is drinking right now.
4 to 5,
So-
6 to 7.
Christian Puscasiu gave an interview.
He's back.
He's Christian
I have
Puscasiu.
no idea what that
Yeah,
is.
he is a board member of Hellas Verona, of course. He admitted that there were mistakes had been made in both the sporting and media management, and acknowledged that the previous ownership, Setti, had left the club in a very precarious financial state, though he assured the fans that the club is now more stable. So that's the good news for Hellas Verona.
Hey.
He said the board will not invest their own money into the club. Hellas Verona must remain self-sustaining through player sales, capital gains, better sponsorships, potential investors, and future revenue from new stadiums and the training centre. On the sporting note, the goal is to return to Serie A next season, but without making firm promises. The plan is to build a balanced, well-rounded squad rather than splashing the cash on a few star players, learning from past mistakes.
Yeah,
Finding the right head coach is currently the club's priority, as it should be.
very smart.
Yes. An announcement related to the stadium project is expecting in the coming days, and no details were shared about potential player buybacks or sporting director Soliano's future.
Mm-hmm.
So that is interesting to hear a little bit about Hellas Verona.
Yeah,
and where
it's also good to mention that of course they've been in Serie A since when? Has around 2016. They're due, parachute payments now
Yeah.
following relegation
Go get that
from
bag.
Serie A to B. So go get that bag. I totally believe that they were left in a precarious financial situation by the previous ownership.
We
We did
saw.
some very bad business when selling some of their best fucking players, man, because we were like, how are you getting rid of Zaccagni? How are you getting rid of
Amrabat.
Cholito, Amrabat,
Rahmani.
Rahmani, Di Marco,
Yeah.
and making fucking peanuts from them?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Up the new ownership.
Up the new ownership. So yes, here we have Como in 6th place with 65 points. That is just 2 points off of a Champions League position. That's absolutely crazy. While Hellas Verona are 19th with 20 points.
Let's
Really good.
jump to Lazio 0, Inter 3. On paper, not much for both teams to play for, but the exciting thing is that this was the dress rehearsal of the Coppa Italia final, which is being played Wednesday night, tomorrow. Lazio 0, Inter 3. Both teams have nothing to play for in the league. I don't know how desperate Lazio are to confirm 8th spot. But they missed Zaccagni and Cataldi, who are expected to recover for the final. Question marks on Zaccagni though. Tavares, Isaacson and Taylor were dropped. Inter are of course champions of Italy after beating Parma last week. They missed Hakan and Pio, the latter mostly precautionary, but Hakan is a serious doubt. It is also reported that Thuram may miss the final after picking up an injury in training, but there are some conflicting reports. Some say that news was bait brought about by Kivu to see who was sharing this information, because there's like a mole in the Inter camp. And through this exercise, they have found out who it is. It's one of the medical stuff. Kivu knows who it is, and he's waiting till the end of the season to fire him.
Allegedly, of
That
course.
could be complete bullshit,
Yeah.
guys. So I'm just giving you the tea, and you look it up. Previous encounter between these two sides was a 2-0 victory for Inter. Lazio had Motta in goal in a 4-3-3 formation with a backline of Maricic, Hila, Romagnoli and Pellegrini, a midfield trio of Dele Bashiru, Rovella and Basic, and a front trio of Cancellieri, Noslin and Pedro. There's a 3-5-2 for Inter with Josip Martinez in goal, a backline of Bisseka, Cerbi and Bastoni, Diouf on the right, Augusto on the left with a midfield trio of Barella, Sucic and Mkhitaryan, with Thuram and Lautaro up front together. It was a dominant performance by Inter in a very, very quiet Stadio Olimpico. Lazio chose to restrict ticket sales for the Serie A fixture ahead of the Coppa Italia final on Wednesday. Inter were in front inside 6 minutes. Really simple move. It was a Bissek long throw that was flicked on by Thuram, and Lautaro volleyed home on his 3rd appearance since February. Sucic then bent a beautiful left foot finish from the edge of the area to make it 2-0 in the 39th minute. That was Jake's goal of the week. Some brilliant play between Lautaro and Diouf in the lead up to that. Then Romagnoli was sent off in the 59th minute after VAR upgraded a yellow to a red for a studs-up challenge on Boni. Lazio showed more bite after the red card. Isaacson forced a good save. Carlos Augusto made a crucial clearance, but Inter and then killed it in the 76th minute. It was Mkhitaryan that converted from Boni's cutback. This was absolutely a statement win for Inter ahead of the final. Very interesting performance by Lazio when it came to fear or indifference or overly respecting their opponents in Inter, but they gave Inter too much space, too much time. They didn't enter challenges to try to dispossess them. It's almost like they were scared of them. And Sarri actually had these comments to make after the game. He said, "The approach today is the result of the fact that this match counts for nothing and Wednesday is fundamental." He then criticized the team's approach, that Inter scored from a long throw with just 2 strikers in the box and that they got 5 passes in Lazio's box for the second goal. What concerns Sarri the most, however, is that his side got better when down to 10 men, stating, "We need to understand why we had 5 clear chances in numerical inferiority. Isaacson alone could have scored 3 goals when we were down to 10 men." And Mr. Sarri, I have an answer. I think they had more grinta because they understood like that they were the underdogs rather than like overestimating their opponents. I think suddenly it was like, fuck it,
you
man.
think it was
we're
a
down
wake-up
to
call?
10
Like,
men.
okay.
Fuck it.
It's true. No, I mean, a red card does unite the
It's
team.
like I got the most girls when I was chubby because I'm like, if they reject me, I'm just the chubby guy, you know. That's when I was the best with girls. So that's when Lazio were the best against Inter.
You probably, bro, right now motivated someone listening. Someone's like, yes,
Make the
I'm
move,
chubby.
dude. Make the move.
I think there was a lot of rotation from Lazio. You can't really see. This won't give you an idea. I mean, they've been playing with Patrick as the regista, and he's been playing quite well. Not to mention as well, I think Taylor is a massive miss in the middle, right? Nuno Tavares has been playing well as of late. You have Zaccagni. Will Zaccagni be back for the final?
It is reported that he will be.
He will be. Okay.
It is reported that he will be.
It's going to be a completely different game. Not to mention as well the atmosphere, because the fans were still protesting this game. They didn't turn up, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. I have the projected lineups if you'd like for me to go through them. Enough about this game. Let's move on to the next. Motta in goal. Backline of Marusic, Hila, Romagnoli and Tavares. Important to mention because I saw some bullshit articles that said Romagnoli is going to be suspended for the final. No, he's not. Serie A doesn't carry to Coppa Italia. Coppa Italia carries to Serie A. Okay?
Interesting.
And Tavares at the back. I expect Tavares to start ahead of Pellegrini, especially because he was rested for this match. I think Basic, Patrick and Kenneth Taylor will start in midfield. I think Rovella won't be used because he doesn't offer too much defensively, and they'll use
second. It's being reported.
They'll use Patrick as the register option because he has more defensive cover and structure than Rovella. Isaacson, Noslin, Zaccagni.
Yeah, that's a much better team.
Yeah, Noslin has to start up front, and Isaacson's been on fire. When it comes to Inter, it's being reported that Martinez will start in goal because he has been starting in the Coppa, although he started this game, but he has a 78% save rate, the slight edge over Sommer in consistency. Backline of Bissek, Akanji and Bastoni. Dumfries on the right, DeMarco on the left, midfield 3 of Barella, Zielinski and Mkhitaryan. Now these are the 2 question marks. Zielinski I think will start ahead of Hakan because he's a major doubt.
I think so, yeah.
I think Mkhitaryan will start ahead of Sucic for his experience in finals, and his late runs into the box I think will be pivotal. Now depending on the situation of Thuram, it will be Lautaro up front alongside either Thuram in case those reports are true. Or else I would say it would be Boni and not Pio Esposito, because Pio Esposito had a small knock he's still recovering from. So I expect Boni to start in that case because he is fitter. The final will be played at the Stadio Olimpico, the same venue as the league defeat for Lazio. It's only the second Coppa Italia final meeting between these two sides. The first was in the year 2000 and Lazio won the trophy. In head-to-heads in the Coppa Italia between these two sides, there have been 18 matches. There have been 7 Inter wins, 5 Lazio wins and 6 draws. Inter are unbeaten in their last 9 against Lazio with 7 wins and 2 draws, 6 clean sheets in those 9 games. This would be Inter's 10th Coppa Italia trophy, thus giving them a silver star. It would be Lazio's 8th.
Lazio are actually very good in the Coppa Italia.
They won one with Simone.
Yes.
I remember with Lukaku's brother playing left wing back.
Jordan Lukaku.
Jordan Lukaku.
It was like hilarious. I remember Jordan Lukaku. He was fucking fast, bro, that guy. He was rapid. Remember him?
Rapid, dude. Rapid.
Fucking, he was like a war tank with a BMW engine.
Imagine Lukaku with the pace of a cheetah.
Yeah. I mean, Lukaku used to be rapid as well.
Used to be rapid.
Jordan Lukaku was like the Everton Romelu Lukaku, but playing fullback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well done.
Yeah. But what's your prediction, bro, before we move on?
I think it'll go the distance. I think maybe 120 minutes, maybe penalties. At the end, Inter get there. But Lazio will make it very difficult.
I have a feeling, man, about Lazio. I think their season has been so bad and they played so well against Milan when the fans showed up. That might bring them to life. However, it might be a bit much for them. Inter are more used to pressure than this group of players are with Lazio. But the way the season's gone for Lazio, they're going to want this bad.
They're going to want it. But
so bad.
You know what I was thinking? Imagine Inter win the league. They've won the league. They celebrate. Well, they still need the big celebration or whatever. Imagine they lose the Coppa now, though. What a bitter taste in their mouth.
They're going to want to make history. I mean, this is going to be a fantastic game of football. And if I had to put my money, though, I couldn't bet against Inter, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it has also been a great Coppa Italia season. Typically, the Coppa Italia is so boring. We had 2 great semi-finals. In fact, let me just take you through the quick journey of both teams to get to the Coppa Italia final, and we can move on. Of course, both teams started from the quarter-finals. They didn't need to start from the Lazio started in the round of 16 as they beat Milan with the score of 1-0. They then eliminated Bologna on penalties. I remember, yes, it was Skorupski and Ivan Provedel in goal. Then they drew twice to Atalanta in the semi-finals, 1-1 and 2-2, before Motta saved 4 penalties in a row, made history, and Lazio made the final. And now they play Inter, of course, in the final.
That's what worries me. I'm Motta more than anything else.
Yep.
During the game.
During the game. Just have it from everywhere. Zielinski's going to score from outside the box.
He'd be nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Inter beat Venezia 5-1. They then made quick work of Torino 2-1. They then had the comeback of the ages against Como, as they won it from the 88th minute onwards to equalise and to win. And now, of course, they play Lazio in the final. When it comes to the standings of the league, of course, Inter are champions, 15 points ahead of second place Napoli with a 54 goal difference. Lazio, on the other hand, find themselves in 9th on 51 points, just 1 point ahead of Udinese, man.
Damn.
Hey.
Damn. That's hilarious. Damn. We need a soundboard again, man.
We do.
Napoli 2, Bologna 3. Monday Night Mayhem. It's always Monday Night Mayhem. Monday nights are the new... Before they used to be, the games on Monday night, it's going to be a 0-0. This season they've been good.
But thank you, man, because Mondays fucking
Exactly, Mondays suck. So having a good game to watch on a Monday night is great. Yeah. So yes, the previous encounter was a 2-0 from Bologna. And Napoli beat Bologna 2-0 in the Super Coppa final. So Bologna have done the double over Napoli in the league. So a win here would have secured top 4, of course, for Napoli, would have confirmed the Champions League spot, but instead they lost at home to a team that has nothing to play for, unfortunately for them. So De Bruyne was ruled out before kickoff with a training head injury, apparently. Vanja Milinkovic-Savic was in goal for Napoli in their 3-4-2-1 formation with Buongiorno, Rahmani and Di Lorenzo at the back, Gutierrez and Politano out wide with a double pivot of McTominay and Lobotka. Santos and Jovan played behind Højlund.
Rahmani told you good morning back.
Pessina was in goal for Bologna with João Mario and Miranda as the fullbacks, Helen and Lukumi as the centre-back partnership, Pobega, Freuler and Ferguson in the middle with Orsolini and Bernardeschi out wide while Castro spearheaded the offensive line. Napoli came into this match knowing that a win would guarantee Champions League football. Bologna had
Was it not a draw that had guaranteed them Champions League
It
football?
was 1 point, exactly.
1 point.
So literally a draw or a victory. So Bologna played like they were unaware that they had nothing to play for. And they celebrated like they were unaware. They celebrated like they won a trophy.
How
you know, at the
funny,
end.
man.
I guess you beat the champions, right? The defending champions, which is massive.
Sure.
Bernardeschi opened the scoring inside 10 minutes with a ferocious left-footed strike into the top corner after combining well with Miranda. Miranda then hit the crossbar and Bologna could have been 2-0 down within the first... could have been 2-0 up, within the first few minutes. They got there eventually in the 34th minute when VAR spotted Di Lorenzo catching Miranda's boot inside the area. It was a penalty for Orsolini. Orsolini has the worst penalty-taking record in Serie A this season, while Vanja Milinkovic-Savic has the best penalty-saving record in Serie A this season. However, Orsolini managed to convert despite Milinkovic-Savic getting a glove on it. It was his first ever goal against Napoli. Di Lorenzo, by the way, had been absent for a while. He had been out with an injury, so giving away the penalty must have affected his confidence. But no, remarkably, Napoli fought back. It was Di Lorenzo back with a bang. He capitalized on a Højlund knockdown and a favourable rebound to make it 2-1 in stoppage time in the first half. Freuler, for this goal, had intercepted a cut-back pass only to set up Di Lorenzo perfectly. It was really unfortunate for Freuler, and you can see after he was like, what have I done? Because the ball was moving away from his goalpost and he essentially played a through ball directly to Di Lorenzo. 3 minutes into the second half, Alisson Santos levelled. Højlund held up the ball brilliantly and Santos finished first time, this time going for the far post. And you can see the goalkeeper was expecting it to go in the near post because that is how Santos has been shooting. But this is what smart players do, right? They go against the grain. They go against what they typically do to catch people off guard in favourable situations. So with Napoli on the rise and it being 2-2, we expected, to be honest, Napoli to go ahead and finish the game and even maybe push for the victory. But it was not to be. Napoli kind of were in limbo between defending and attacking. They didn't commit too much forward and they didn't shut up shop defensively, and that actually allowed for Miranda to attack down the left, cross-shot the ball into Vanja Milinkovic-Savic and Jonathan Rowe, the substitute who had just come on 18 minutes before, to produce a spectacular scissor kick volley from 12 yards into the back of the net. So for me, bro, this game kind of summarizes quite a bit what we've seen from Napoli, this kind of like cautious approach, and they turn things around and they get there, but they don't fully commit. You know what I mean?
And that killer instinct, I feel, has been missing for Napoli this season in general. I mean, we've seen Napoli kill off games, quite significantly last season and 3 seasons ago.
And so many in the last few minutes of the game, bro.
Totally. But barring that huge victory versus Cremonese most recently and that 1-0 win maybe against Milan before that, they've been struggling a little bit to assert their dominance in games. And whenever I watch Napoli, it's almost like they're equal to their opponents, and it kind of depends on how that game is essentially going. Like form doesn't matter. The fact that they have Conte doesn't matter. It's been a little bit like almost like every game is a final is the best way I can put it. Like when you're watching Napoli, when there isn't that stability which is typically offered by Conte. Of course, it's been a tough season when it comes to the injuries. I did think that with a lot of the injuries in their past, that maybe Napoli could be a bit more stable at this stage of the season, especially with how badly Bologna are struggling. But I don't know, maybe that's just me.
It was definitely a case of Napoli switching off when the game was there for the taking. It's like they didn't want to lose, so they fought hard to come back. But then when the win was there for the taking, they They were cautious, too hesitant. And Conte did notice this. He said after the game, he spoke to DAZN Italia. He said, when you press, you've got to do it properly, because if you only do it halfway, you just end up running around for nothing. And I felt that a bit, especially in the first half. The press was not as efficient. He says we could have been more determined in the pressing, but it wasn't the first time this season we're 2-0 down, which means that it is not a fluke. Evidently, we need to be more determined in the initial approach because it keeps happening. There could, of course, be an element of complacency because Napoli have quite a comfortable cushion, right?
And the fact that Inter just won the league, I think it's more of like a demoralization in the nation.
Yes, he said, we managed to get back on track, tried to win it and pushed hard, but if you can't win, then you should at least try to not lose. I don't think we deserve to lose, but these things happen. There are 2 games to go. We've got to recharge our batteries, secure Champions League football in these 2 matches and do our best. I'm not upset with the performance. I saw the lads wanted to get the job done tonight, but at times there's a late twist in the tale. Fair enough.
I mean, this was their toughest game remaining as well, Napoli. I believe their last 2 games are Udinese. No, it's Pisa away, and then Udinese at home. This was their toughest match.
Yeah, they'll confirm it next match.
Yeah.
On the other end, we have Italiano, who was a lot more jolly in the interview. He joked by saying it's in Bernardeschi's contract that every time he comes off he needs to kick the bottles on the sideline, which is hilarious. And then when asked about his future, he said at the end of the season we'll have a meeting to discuss the future at the end of the season, as we did last season, basically keeping any option open. But this was a much better performance from Bologna, bro.
And definitely better. It's good to see again Jonathan Rowe getting a winner like that as well. On the note of Italiano and just like the uncertainty behind so many managers in Serie A, it is looking like next year. It feels like the past 3 seasons there's been it's this incestuous coaching carousel that's been going around with Allegri reportedly could be on his way out. Conte as well with the Italy job available. Atalanta with Palladino may be out. Sarri, no one knows what's going to happen with him. Italiano will likely leave Bologna at the end of the season. It's reported that D'Aversa won't stay on at Torino. Everyone wants Grosso. Fiorentina, there's no way they're keeping Vanoli. They need to aim for something a bit brighter and more exciting. It's really hard to keep track of who has what manager. Like you remember at the start of every season, we essentially have a paper in between us with the name of the manager and the club that they're representing.
Bro, there are so many changes, and honestly,
it's like Love Island, man.
I think that when I'm an old man in my hospital bed and my memory's gone completely, I'm gonna mix up everything.
Man,
remember that, like Gasperini was at Atalanta, Roma. Remember Gasperini at Milan? Gasperini was never at Milan. Grandpa, I was like, yes, he was. Everyone was with everyone.
Yes, he was. You never believe me. I'm alone.
But this was a great performance from Bologna, and Napoli though will get it done in the next 2 weeks.
Totally.
And the standings, of course. I'm seeing you waiting. I'm like, what's this guy waiting for? So Napoli is second place with 70 points, while Bologna have nothing to play for at all in 8th in 52 points.
Now, I believe this is the last important game we're going to be covering. if I'm not mistaken.
Is it? So Torino Sassuolo is not important. Fiorentina confirmed survival with their draw, so there's that one, I guess. But
sure, bud. Cremonese 3-0, an absolutely necessary win for Cremonese after 5 without a win, but they still find themselves in the relegation zone with 2 matches to go, 1 point behind Lecce. They missed Baschirotto in this game. Pisa have become the Bonnie Blue of Serie A. Their focus over the past 2 weeks was a bukake from 22 men fighting relegation. Jesus. Tramoni was not fit enough to partake in this physically demanding role. Previous encounter between these two sides was a 1-0 victory for Pisa, surprisingly. 4-4-2 formation for Cremonese without Dere in goal and a backline of Terracciano, Bianchetti, Luperto and Pezzella. A midfield 4 of Barbieri, Grassi, Male and Van de Putte with Bonazzoli and Jamie Party.
Jamie Party's having a Vardy.
Jamie Party's having a Vardy. For Pisa, for Hilja marksmen, it was a 3-4-2-1 formation with Schemper in goal and a backline of Carnestrelli, Caracciolo and Bozinov. Ture on the right, Leris on the left, midfield two of Akin Sanmiro and Loyola, with Moreo and Vural playing behind Stojkovic. Pisa made their situation even worse than it was, as Bozinov was sent off for a second yellow in the 23rd minute with an incredibly reckless challenge. Vardy then opened the scoring with a left-footed finish in the 31st minute, and then Bonazzoli made it 2 after Van de Putte's service in the 51st minute, shortly before Loyola received a straight red card for entering studs up in a challenge on Petzella. The clip of the foul, as like bad the foul looks, it's really funny.
It is. I think I
the-
have the audio, bro.
You could hear the scream of the player, the devastation in the in the background. You could actually see one of the Pisa
Rossoneri.
players on the bench, Rossoneri, like cringing and holding his head, like shit. We're getting another red card over here. I have then put the audio on the mic. They'll hear it. Okereke then coming on as a sub. In the 72nd minute, scored the third in the 86th, from a Zerbin assist, but it was all him as he took the ball to the byline, made quick work of his man and squeezed it in past Semper brilliantly. Pisa ended with 9 men and remarkably 0 shots in the entire match, 77% ball possession for Cremonese, 735 passes to 218. A statement performance in a must.
And the
win.
Cremonese fans had such a fun time. It's so rare for them to win so convincingly. But
Yeah.
listen to this. This Petzella.
My God, but it was awful.
It was horrible.
I was
Studs up in
hoping
the
to
thigh.
see more Cremonese fans in the stadium, but hey, that's why I prefer Lecce. Pisa, you could tell that there's demoralization, frustration, and all of the other Asians in the way that they play. I mean, 2 quick back-to-back red cards, 0 patience in their way of playing. Like, to let a game go like that against a struggling Cremonese to get a 3-0 victory. I mean, Bozinov got sent off, and then like Bozinov made it hard, and then Loyola made it impossible. 0 shots in the entire game. I
They're
mean,
done,
no
bro.
pride or fight, nothing by
Bro,
Pisa.
they've lost 9 of their last 10. And I'm sure you can stretch that to make it even more sensational. I mean, they've been poor this season. As you said, bro, you put it perfectly. They're currently everyone's Bonnie Blue.
They're
Yeah.
just the cum bucket for everyone right now. They're the old
Unfortunately.
football sock.
Unfortunately, for them, the season's over. They're going to go down to Serie B, and we'll see what they do after that. I don't have an update on their situation, but I'm sure we'll do an episode down the line to kind of like see what like when we introduce the newcomers to Serie A, we can take a look at the situations of the teams that went down as well to
Yeah.
see what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that episode.
And of course, the teams going up. As I mentioned earlier, with Pisa being Bonnie Blue, they are of course going down on multiple people at the same time. Vardy was back at such a crucial point because Vardy is a champion, and B, he's been in this situation before with Leicester, right?
Yes.
So he has that right kind of mentality. He was pressing like a monster, man.
Bro,
like
he's
a
still
monster.
full of energy.
Mhm.
He's still full of energy.
Well, we
of energy
know
drinks.
how he drinks so many Red Bulls with all that.
But that finish was classic Vardy, wasn't it? It was really good work from Petzella to get the knockdown onto him, but
Yeah.
to win the duel, and then Vardy just instinctively just finishes it. So good to see.
And I also want to shout out Van de Putte, 12 crosses down the right side. He was relentless. He didn't stop running for the entire game. Grassi controlled the midfield. He had 89 out of 93 passes completed. Just a really controlled and clean performance by Grassi in that quite a physical battle, of course, in midfield, tackles flying in left, right and center, particularly from Pisa. But this result will, the fact that Cremonese won this game 3-0, that is going to give them confidence. They have, of course, it's not in their hands, it's in Lecce's hands as they're 1 point behind them. But they need to focus. They have Udinese away, Como home. Como have everything to play for. They're going to be at home. That's going to be tough. Udinese away, sometimes randomly,
They switch
Udinese
off.
might not turn up.
It's
Now,
true.
Udinese have not played like they have nothing to play for.
Yes,
let's be honest.
they've been good,
They've
man.
got fight. Like they were getting mauled by Cagliari and they managed to beat them 2-0 in the last game. But,
Yeah, but they
they'll
are
be full
prone
of
to a slip
confidence, huh? They'll be full of
That's true.
confidence, Cremonese.
Absolutely. And when you compare the fixtures to Lecce's remaining two, Lecce, of course, have the easier fixtures coming up as they face Sassuolo away from home and Genoa at home.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting end. I have to repeat it, man. That performance against Lazio was super naive from Cremonese. They should have shut up shop and got the draw.
And there would have been a few of those, bro. That's just the one that you're remembering
but it's
right
the one
now.
that was literally 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
when they knew the situation. Because, all right, granted, if you go for a victory instead of protecting a lead in the first 10 matches of the season, you don't know where you're going to be by the end. But here they know, bro. They're looking at the barrel, down the barrel, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Speaking of down the barrel, Pisa. They're in last place on 18 points, minus 41 goal difference, whereas Cremonese find themselves in 18th again. They're just 1 point behind Lecce.
A very enjoyable match. Torino 2, Sassuolo 1. The previous encounter was a 1-0 victory for Toro. There was a Vlasic penalty that won them that one, meaning that Torino have now beaten Sassuolo twice this season.
Yo.
Paleari was in goal for Torino with Ebosse, Cocco and Marianucci at the back, Huablalor on the left and Lozaro on the right with Genaitis and Prati in the middle, Inuji and Vlasic playing behind Simeone. Muric was in goal for Sassuolo on their 4-3-3 formation with Doig and Koulibaly as the fullbacks, Valukovic and Muharemovic at the back, Lipani, Matic and Thordsvet in the middle with Volpato and Lauriente on the wings and Penamonti up front. It was a very compact and hard-fought game between two mid-table sides with nothing really riding on it. A goalless first half despite Genaitis hitting the crossbar twice in the 12th minute gave way to a dramatic second half. Thordsvet puts Sassuolo ahead in the 51st minute, somewhat against the run of play, to be honest, after a neat Lipani pass, but Torino hit back with two headers in 4 minutes. Simeone in the 66th from an Ebosse cross, and then substitute Pedersen in the 70th minute from a Zapata delivery. This was a goal against his ex-team, Pedersen, who was previously featured for Sassuolo. Torino extended their home unbeaten record to 5, while Simeone scored his 5th consecutive home match.
Wow.
Yeah. Sassuolo hit the post but could not equalize, of course. Now, there are quite a few interesting talking points from this game, bro. For example, in the first half, I thought that Prati really struggled. Really struggled to the point that it gets D'Aversa. At one point, it zoomed in on D'Aversa and was telling him, like, calm down, because the crowd was groaning and they were really getting to him and he was really struggling. But then he did well, bro, in the second half, and he grew into the game. The game from the get-go, bro, had big chances and both teams were playing to win it, essentially. While Sassuolo, you can tell they're a different team without Berardi and Kona on the pitch, even though Berardi did come on in the second half.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Marianucci playing, even though he didn't have the best game of his life. While I was really impressed by the wasteful Inji. Inji had a really good game. His movement was perfect and he was really up for the task, but he missed so many chances, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, he's a bit... I think he makes the right movement, man. He's in the right place at the right time. He breaks into space really well. But that finishing needs some work, unfortunately. Or it's a shame because he gets into the position so well, man.
Yeah.
So I was going to say maybe play him further from goal, but that's where you want someone with good movement, you know?
No, he's good, and he's only 20 years old, and he's Swedish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout
Thordsvet
out you
took
Swedes.
an awful shot to the testicles this game, man, and it
Damn.
was brutal. And the commentator was like, "That's gonna hurt." You know, like, it's hilarious when a player gets struck in the balls. The commentator always want to say more than they're allowed to say. You
Yeah.
know, there's always like this silence.
They always put it so eloquently, like they leave a lot to the imagination. I want to give a shout out to Paleari. I thought he had a great game. Firstly, I'm like, I didn't watch the full match, but I am blown away by the XG because it's 3.26 to 2.24.
It was a really good game, man.
It looked like a really end-to-end kind of hard-fought victory for Torino, and from the moments that I saw, that was exactly it.
Yeah.
But Paleari with 5 saves, some better than others, of course, but it was an impressive performance by a keeper that I'm not 100% like. I'm not certain he should be starting ahead of Israel, for example. But I haven't seen enough of either of them.
No, Pagliari's been good, to be fair. Israel had a good start to the season, but then made a few, I think, mistakes to lose his spot.
Oh,
so
Israel have made many mistakes.
Israel. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, not going to dwell too much on this one, considering it was all for nothing. Well, there was a little bit of a narrative, actually. It was about cutting the gap between these two teams, as Sassuolo are in 11th with 49 points and Torino are now in 12th with 44 points.
The battle for 11th spot. A crazy one.
That's a fun one.
I have my last game I'm going to be covering, which is Cagliari 0, Udinese 2. Now, this was a really good game of football. It's between two sides that have nothing to play for, but like I mentioned earlier, Udinese aren't really playing like that. They seem like they want to get as many points as possible and improve on their position from last season as much as they can. It's almost like Costa Runjaic wants to improve his numbers moving forward. But this was totally marred by an alleged racist offense from Dossena to Davis that went onto social media, and then it became a whole, of course, rightly so, it became a whole thing, and the Serie A are investigating right now. It's always so hard to investigate something like that where it's just one person's word against the other one. Of course, now Zaniolo's come in, said I heard something as well, and I heard him talking about his kids.
About Zaniolo's kids, I think he overheard what he told Davis, and he during the game was all in Zaniolo's ear, telling him about his partner and his kids and whatever.
As much as I would love to obviously stand here and just obviously be against racism, etc., which is exactly what our stance is, there's an incredibly complex scenario where, like we saw with the Tressoldi, is his name Tressoldi, one of Benfica?
Oh my god, I don't remember his name.
I think
but
it
him and
is.
Vinicius,
Please find out the player's name, because there's another player named Tressoldi that I'm just falsely accusing. Mic these players up. I don't know, but like Prestiani, Jesus, sorry, Tressoldi. Sorry, Ruan
Tressoldi of
Ruan
Sassuolo,
Tressoldi,
the
I'm
most
blaming.
error-prone centre-back I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But not a racist.
Allegedly. There's just it's not like it's a fan and there's footage and whatever of it happening. It's something a player must have said under his shirt. It's hard to pick up. It gets really tricky to exercise good justice in these scenarios, man. But anyway, we'll get into a bit like what happened after I go to the play-by-play. It was last week that Cagliari confirmed they will once again be in Serie A next season. So this was by no means an important match for them, but they did miss Borelli, Mazzitelli and Pavoletti. Borelli, Mazzitelli, Pavoletti. It's like those memes. At this point, Udinese's focus is, like I said, to make an improvement on last season. They only lost one of their last 5 matches. They missed Cabasele and Eklinkamp. The previous encounter between these two sides was a 1-1 draw. Cagliari played in a 5-3-2 formation with Caprile in goal, a backline of Ober, Rodriguez, Dossena, Zepedra and Palestra, a midfield trio of Foloruncio, Gaetano and Adopo, with Paul Mendy and Esposito starting up front together, versus the 3-4-3 of Costa Runjaic. A bit different 3-4-3, It's like it's like one day you just go out with your hair a bit spiky. Okoye in goal, backline of Mlacic, Christensen and Sole. Ezibwe on the right, Kamara on the left, midfield duo of Piotrowski and Karlstrom, with Zaniolo and Atta flanking Buxa. Udinese, of course, won the game 2-0. The football was largely secondary to what happened after the final whistle. It was a balanced first half, which ended up goalless despite good chances from both ends, but mostly from Cagliari. Okoye had to pull off some good saves, particularly on Gaetano. Zaniolo did hit the post at a point though, so it was quite even. Udinese took control in the second half as Buxa slotted home from Kamara's pass in the 58th minute. Cagliari pushed for an equaliser. Dossena's header was cleared off the line by Karlstrom, but then Davis sealed it with a late goal. He had come on in the 76th. Well, it was around the 76th minute. And then came the situation. Davis accused Dossen of racial abuse after approaching the referee during play. Players had to be separated after the final whistle, and both clubs responded via official statements, with Cagliari firmly backing Dossena and backing their man.
Risky that.
Always. It always is risky. Pisacane as well stood by him. So let me just read what I prepared here. So Davis alleged that Dossena called him a monkey late in the game, which sparked heated scenes both on the pitch and after the final whistle. The former Aston Villa striker later took to Instagram, posting a story with a photo of Dossena writing, "This racist coward called me a monkey." He posted that on his Instagram stories. Dossena has since strongly denied the accusation, saying racism is the furthest thing from his values and that he has never behaved in that way, ever. Cagliari coach Fabio Pisacane and goalkeeper Elia Caprile both publicly backed the defender, insisting they trust his character and believe he did not make any racist remarks. Udinese, meanwhile, released an official statement expressing full support for Davis and condemning what they described as shameful racist insults from an opposing player. The situation escalated further when Zaniolo claimed Dossena had also insulted his children and Davis over the colour of his skin, adding even more fuel to an already explosive controversy. At this stage, it's essentially Davis's words against Dossena's, and attention now turns to the Serie A and the sporting authorities to investigate the incident and determine whether any disciplinary action will follow. Racism allegations remain one of the most serious issues in football, so the story is unlikely to disappear anytime soon. I have to say, however, I don't think it will be the last one, particularly in Italian football.
How far-fetched is this idea that has just come to me, bro? So much money is involved in football. How far-fetched is the idea of miking up the players?
I can't tell you because it sounds so obvious and so easy to do.
Exactly. There's nothing that needs to be done with it except for if an accusation like this is made, you can refer to the mics. You know, police are mic'd up for this reason.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it would be that crazy because there's no other way I can think of how you can get past this. I know I saw some people saying you should never cover your mouth or players shouldn't be allowed to cover their mouths.
Or you should be educated.
I mean, that's yes.
But, I mean, yes, but no shit. But there will always be, no matter how educated we are, you know, people are gonna...
Football is a perfect representation of life. You have beauty and then you have these issues. What if an issue exists in real life, it's going to exist in football.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And of course there should be zero tolerance to it because we try to make the world a better place, an inclusive place, right?
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it's a matter of he said, she said. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And again, like it is tricky because of the lack of evidence. I know we all want to jump to support the person
of course.
who suffered in this scenario. But from our end, look, if no one else heard it, no one else saw it, you just have to take it. It's his word against his. Unfortunately, this is a situation that happens in football and in life. It's interesting to see what Serie A can do in a situation like this. I can't, like, with confidence say, no, they have to, for example,
Of course not, bro.
ban Dossena. Of course, if Davis was in front of me, tell me you're calling me a fucking liar on something like this, man.
Yeah.
And like I'd sound like a bigot, but it's his word against his. You never know. I saw a video on TikTok recently, man, where it's an Italian person. I forgot the word that he used in Italian, but he was calling someone, and it sounded close to the infamous racial slur towards black people. And the black person went up to him and like told him off in his face.
But
And
I remember that.
Let me finish. But there's clear footage of this person not saying it and it being misinterpreted by someone. So you literally never know in these cases.
But that was a different word. That was actually the
Yes.
racist,
No, I'm just using an example
okay,
over here.
okay.
That
Yes,
there
I
might
mean,
be.
of course, but Davis seemed pretty convinced, though, right? I don't know. I think it's one of those situations where simply you need to figure it out, man. Honestly, like miking people up isn't like lapels are tiny. They're not going to interfere with play. You can have it underneath the shirt, just on the collar. You know, if it comes on, just replace it quickly. It really won't I don't know
Yeah.
if this is far-fetched. You could even fucking have it built in the collar. It literally is possible nowadays.
Bro, you wear a vest that tracks your exact
Yeah.
heart rate, your movement, or whatever. You can't get something that picks up your voice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even want to talk about this game.
No.
Udinese are in 10th on 50 points. Cagliari are in 16th on 37.
The last game we have to discuss it was a bit of a write-off, to be honest. The closest thing we had to a biscotto this season. Not really, though, because both teams did try to actually score, but this was Fiorentina 0, Genoa 0, which is very low tempo. The previous encounter was a 2-2 draw at the Luigi Ferraris. That game, Colombo missed a penalty and then scored a really scrappy goal and went mental, remember? It was quite early on. Fiorentina are mathematically safe, thanks to this point, despite being booed off by their own fans for quite a lethargic performance. Of course, Moise Kean was not playing this game as he was in the stands following his child's birth. There's a reason this week. Piccoli was not fit either, so Vanoli decided to start the Primavera star Riccardo Braschi, or Braschi. Help me out here. It's Braschi.
That's ski.
Braschi,
Braschi.
yeah. Leaving out Goodmanson on the bench, by the way. Justifiably.
Against his former club.
Yes. So with just Juve and Atalanta left after this, Fiorentina had to get this done to confirm their safety. So De Gea was in goal for Fiorentina with Gosens, Ranieri, Pongracic and Dodo at the back, and Duer, Fagioli and Mandragora in the middle, with Solomon on the left, Parisi on the right, and Braschi starting up front. Bilo was in goal for Genoa in their 3-4-2-1 formation with Zitterstrom, Ostigard and Marcandelli at the back, Ellertson on the right, Martin on the left, with Frendrup and Amorim in the middle, Ekator and Vitinha playing behind Lorenzo Colombo. So this was quite safe, unambitious and passionless. Fiorentina, of course, needed a point and they got it. De Gea made one crucial save from Ostigard, and Genoa's Vitinha fired straight at De Gea after a Dodo error. Ranieri had a looping header that went just wide. There was nothing really to this game, and the Franchi were chanting, "We want you to score, we want you to score," and then they booed them at the end, which is funny because they technically confirmed their safety. So it just goes to show the stature of and the expectations around the Fiorentina camp for the fans to boo after surviving. Like Lecce would have gone mental, of course, but yeah. I mean, bro, Piccoli and Goodmanson came off the bench and they were shit. Fagioli was really casual. Solomon and Dodo crossed regularly but didn't really create much. The younger guy up front doesn't look ready at all for this level. I think he needs a little bit more time. While this match means that Brescianini's obligation to buy clause has been triggered and they get him for 10 million from Atalanta until 2030. And I guess that's it, bro. I mean, not much to say.
I think the most talking points here will be communicated in our like post-season analysis on most teams. What the fuck happened at Fiorentina? Of course, there was the tragic loss of Rocco Commisso, for example, which definitely didn't do Fiorentina any favors. And it was, the second year in a row that they lost a member of their footballing association. So another tough season for Fiorentina. Last season they finished 6th, qualified for the Europa League. This season they narrowly avoided relegation. They finished in 15th. Well, they are right now in 15th, and they only just confirmed survival. So a lot of work to be done at Fiorentina. Genoa, they're saving all their energy for Milan next weekend.
Yeah, of course. I highly doubt they're going to put in this much of a cautious display against Milan. I'm telling you, the hungriest of the lot was Colombo this game, and you get to see certain situations where chances were created. People were just going for glory.
Yeah.
For both teams, to be honest with you. That's the problem, when the season kind of fizzles out, people care more about their own personal glory than the team. I mean,
Yes, sir.
But
that's where they stand, because I'm going to start urinating my pants very soon.
So Genoa are in 14th with 41 points, while Fiorentina are in 15th with 38 points. Predictions.
First fantasy.
Fantasy.
Let's have a look at our standings.
Did you have a good week this week?
I did not have a good week again. And I forgot to do my team this week, bro. I forgot to do my team. Really? No, that's on me. That's terrible.
Catenaccio Maxi is in first place. Quite a gap now. What's that? Plus 20, plus 20 points.
Yeah.
Zanetti's asshole, that's you in second place. Inter, your mom in third. US Salernitanga in fourth, that's Cesco, of course. Fifth, we have Grocka Gilmore. Sixth, Two Girls, One Coop. Seventh, Gym City Life, Corto Muso, Loco, Choco, Saul Coco. And then me in 10th with Ardens Hardon in 11th. Drees Nuts in 12th. Today, Your Love. Tomorrow, The World in 13th. Interbred in 14th. And Shri Kritegi in 15th. Let's look at the top performers this week. First, we have Goblin Mussolini, 83 points. Gym City Life with 82 points. Allegri's Allegations, 82 points. Grock Gilmore, 78 points. Give 'em Hellas, 77. Two Girls, One Coop, 76. And Shri Kritegi in 75 with 75 points.
Again, guys, if you want to take part in this and potentially win next season and get a free kit of your choice, become a patron. Again, $3.99 a month. And we can also, pay Nathan more than we do. What do you think of that, Nate? Give you a $3.99 increase.
Yeah, per week. Listen, we need to do this prediction series is a very important one, brother.
Yes.
Can I close it off? A victory for me means that you cannot win.
Yes, if you win, I can't win. And I'll tell you, you know what? Big bro, well done, big bro. You have 2 more years of experience on me in life and watching football, big bro. So well done, big bro.
Weird, huh? But
If
anyway.
I win, I am
I know,
Achilles.
right? Gross. We have Juve, Fiorentina first. Is it your turn to start or
It's not
mine?
Juve Fiorentina first. Who's giving you this information?
Sofa score.
Nah, Roma Lazio.
Are you on the right match? Yeah.
You
yes.
the right man. You
Yes, they're just in a different order. Yeah, let's go with yours.
You fucking hacking.
Roma
'Cause
Lazio will be on a Monday.
a lot of games are here. I have them.
Apparently, Roma Lazio has been rescheduled to a Monday, bro, because of the Italian opening, and people already have tickets, like and flights.
Oh my
terribly.
god, dude!
It's the classic. I mean, Serie A, man.
Okay,
is
let's
a
let's
disaster.
use yours. Let's use yours.
Sure. So we've got first up.
You
Let's do
start this week.
Juve Fiorentina, and for me, Juve win this.
I agree. You win this.
You're up for Como Parma.
Como?
I say Como too. I am up for Genoa Milan. Oh my god. And I'm going Milan because I don't want to jinx myself.
No, I'm going Milan.
Yes?
I'm going Milan. Grinta, bro. This one, Grinta.
We have to. Yes, and a lot of rotation will be forced. So let's hope.
Atacame will start. You know, no Leao, which is a good thing. It'll be good. Milan will win.
But anyway,
3-0.
Pisa Napoli. You.
Napoli.
Napoli. Roma Lazio. I say Roma.
Allah, man. We're just gonna say all the same shit.
Apparently.
Roma.
You're up for Inter Verona.
Inter.
Atalanta Bologna. And I am up. I will go for a draw here.
God, man, I fucking agree with you.
Say it then, no problem, bro.
No, I have to do something different to win this. Atalanta.
Sassuolo Lecce, you're up.
Aye!
You've given Nathan a heart attack.
Draw.
Sassuolo.
Ui.
Udinese, Cremonese. I go Droese.
I go with Udinese.
And
Alright.
with that, no, we have Cagliari Torino now, the last one. You're up.
Torino.
Draw.
Alright, yeah, we'll have some different ones. Guys, I'm gonna go piss. Thank you so much for listening. If you've made it this far, comment, do Ross in me, do Ross in you. We'll catch you all next week.
Thank you very much.
Ciao, ciao.
If you like Serie A or have ever liked it in the past, it's a good opportunity for you to listen once a week and you'll get filled in.
The football weekend, that's like the main dish. But then a few days later, you drop your episode and that's like the dessert. and the dessert is just perfect.
It's good, the cake.
It makes it feel like we're all sitting in a room together, just BSing with each other.
The atmosphere is fantastic.
I promise nobody will ask you to send boob pics.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
I love how you go into so much detail and show so much passion towards each and every team. Literally, no team is left undiscussed.
When I listen to you, it's like I'm talking to you in a pub. It's like I'm chatting to a friend and you're chatting to me.